Hello. So Britain has entered another lockdown. Who would have thought this back in March when Boris Johnson announced 3 weeks to flatten the curve, we should be back to normal by the summer, and now it's turning into 54 weeks to flatten the curve. What would the public have thought if they had known it was going to go on for this long? This is the problem. Gradualism. People can accept something. They can accept restrictions on their liberty for a short-term period, for a genuinely good reason. But long-term, it's another matter. But when you claim there's an emergency, and then you just use excuse after excuse after excuse to say that the emergency is still continuing, and we need to continue to do this, that, and the other, just one final push, you can end up in all kinds of tyranny. And people never know where to draw the line in their own minds as to this is too much. Now, the thing is that some of us knew that there was something more going on than 3 weeks to flatten the curve back in March last year. We knew this was going to last a lot longer. Because whilst Boris was out there saying, well, we'll get back to normal in a while, after 12 weeks we can beat this virus completely, etc. There were other publications that were talking about the wider globalist agenda behind the COVID con. I would like to draw your attention to an article in Technology Review. This is the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So this is not what you would call a conspiracy website. This is a technology website, but they had an article dated the 17th of March 2020, before we were in lockdown in the UK, called We're Not Going Back to Normal. And it's quite a chilling read. And if you go further down this article, it basically states that in order to go back to living a normal life, we are constantly going to have to prove we are healthy, prove that we are not infectious. It says, however, I predict that we'll restore the ability to socialise safely by developing more sophisticated ways to identify who is a disease risk and who isn't, and discriminating legally against those who are. So, and later on, it talks about there'll be temperature scanners everywhere, and your workplace might demand you wear a monitor that tracks your temperature and other vital signs. Where nightclubs ask for proof of age, in future they might ask for proof of immunity, an identity card, or some kind of digital verification via your phone. So they're telling you there are people out there that want you to live a life where you're basically owned by the state, that you're basically sick until you prove yourself healthy. And I was very concerned that the first lockdown was going to lead to that when the reopening up, when things do reopen, that's the kind of world we'll be in. And unfortunately, my concerns are coming true. Now, more recently, you have the likes of Matt Hancock speaking in radio interviews, saying how the vaccine is wonderful and how he hopes that we can get us all back to normal and that will get us our freedom back. You know, we'll be injecting hope into the arms of people, that sort of thing. But at the same time, you've got other publications out there saying we're still going to have masks and distancing. In fact, Jonathan Van Tam, the deputy medical officer, he stated that we will have to wear, or may have to wear, face masks for years despite the vaccine, and they could be as commonplace as in the Far East. And he states there will be no opportunity to have a massive party once the corona vaccine arrives. So this idea that we can all just, suck it up for a bit longer, wait till we have this massive party and everything will go back to how it was, it's a complete illusion. The government does not intend for us to go back to normal. So again, we're hearing mixed messages. We're hearing people like Boris and Matt Hancock try and say the vaccine's the solution, get vaccinated, then you can look forward to getting your lives back. And you're getting articles like this from the Deputy Chief Medical Officer saying, oh no, it won't, we'll still have to carry on. And it's just going to be excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse as to why we have to have more and more restrictions. And there's another article here by CTV News, I think this is in California, This is why you still need to wear a mask after being vaccinated. And it's saying they don't know how effective they will be in curbing the spread. So they're promoting this vaccine, they're pushing it, they're demonising anyone who criticises it, and yet they don't even know if this is going to be effective in stopping the spread of a virus. How ridiculous is that? And the World Bank, there's a document from the World Bank. It lists the COVID-19 programme ending in March 2025. The COVID-19 Strategic Preparedness and Response Programme documents marked for official use only, and it identifies the COVID-19 programme ending March 2025. Therefore you can expect this kind of regime to carry on until at least then. Because this was never about a virus. This is all about the whole New World Order plan, Agenda 21, the Great Reset. These are documented. This is documented stuff. You can see it in their publications. And the Rockefeller Lockstep program, Lockstep scenario in their article, Scenarios for the Future of Technology from 2010, it told you exactly what's happening now in their Lockstep scenario. So this is what people need to realise, because my big concern is people are just going to be happy to suck it all up because they think it's going to go over. It's all be over sooner if we do that, and that's completely not true. They're telling you this isn't going to go away on its own accord. Whatever they do, they're going to make up excuses. And we can now see it happening. The way they're talking about new strains, new variants, they haven't proved these new strains or variants have existed. Just like the first one, they haven't purified and isolated the virus according to Koch's postulates. This is what we need to do. Simply not comply. Doesn't necessarily mean going on protests, but it means just living your life as you normally do. Have friends around your house. Meet up in groups wherever you can. Don't wear a mask in the supermarket. If we all do that, the police can't do anything. They'll be running around like headless chickens. And we've got to work locally, set up local community groups, support each other. That's the way we get through this, by getting enough people awake and aware of what is going on and realising that this is not going to go away. This lockdown is not going to end on its own accord. Sure, at some point some restrictions will be eased, but just again, it's going to be excuse after excuse for continuous restrictions, more lockdowns, and over time it's going to get worse. People need to wake up to this agenda and live their lives normally. Thank you for watching.